You've seen plenty of strange clips online, but not like this.
Tonight we've gathered the wildest paranormal moments caught on camera, and trust me when I say, you'll be replaying many of them in your head long after this video ends.
My name's Steve. Welcome to Classified Captures. Now let's get on with the first clip. Okay.
Back in 2014, someone captured this night footage in Brazil. What shows in the image is that something strange is approaching their car. At first, you might think it's taillights, but these lights move differently. They rise up and pass over the car, and as you can clearly see, a pair of bright orbs are side by side. Behind those, there's another pair of lights, which are also two sets of orbs moving together. What makes this clip odd is how the lights behave. They don't move like normal vehicle lights. They glide, change height, and keep a steady formation as they pass. The driver didn't stop the car, even though most people would pull over if something this bright was coming straight at them. So what could this be? Maybe it's drones flying information, or a pair of aircraft seen from an odd angle that makes their lights look like orbs. It could be a reflection or a lens effect that doubled the lights. And of course, there's the possibility it was edited after the fact to look weirder. On the other hand, some viewers say this matches UFO behavior. What do you think it was?
Oh, que porra é essa?
Off the coast of Amalfi, a diver captured something that has left people stunned. At first, it looked like a long-necked creature at the surface of the waves, its head rising above the water. But the shocking part was its face. Where a snout or mouth should have been, there appeared to be a face that looked almost human, staring downward as if deep in thought. When you look closely, it doesn't resemble any known sea creature. It looks disturbingly like a person. This is a new one. Amalfi has been the site of legends and strange sea tales for centuries, but never something quite like this. A creature between man and beast. What are we looking at? We are all very intrigued by what the next AI invention will be, but are we really ready for AI to rule over us? Well, perhaps Albania is not. They just appointed their AI minister, and that is how it starts. Next thing you know, they have the upper hand, and the whole world's leaders are employing AI ministers when they are still very capable humans to do the job. So why are the leaders starting this? Some speculate they're putting machines in their place so they can hide when the Atlas comes. For those not familiar with the conspiracy, it's said that there is a planet known as Atlas approaching Earth. Some say it's a planet, others say it's a massive craft. Scientists say it's a comet, but either way, it's on a collision course with Earth. Could that be the case? This footage was taken back in 2018 near the shore while the waves were rolling in. The camera caught something moving in the water close to the break. Look closely. In the swell, you can make out a humanoid form with what looks like a fishtail flowing behind it. Just watch that shape in the waves. Skeptics say it's just a big fish. Others call it a mermaid. It could also be a floating debris or a seal seen from the wrong angle, or a swimmer. Whatever the truth, the image is eerie. Is this a beast of the deep, a misread shadow, or something else? This footage comes from 2019. A nurse followed a resident into a room that the staff called the death room. Everything has been uneasy about that room for years. The resident said she wanted to bless the room, so she stood there holding a rosary and praying. As the resident prayed, she held the rosary up toward the doorway. For a moment, everything seemed normal. Then something in the video happens that made the nurse freeze. An unseen force lifts the rosary out of the resident's hand and holds it up into the air. The motion looks deliberate, like something tagged at it. If the room already had a name like that, this sure seemed to explain why. Could it be a ghost of a person who died there?
Heavenly Father, I ask for your divine presence to fill this space. May your light shine brightly through every room, cleansing this home of any negativity, fear, or unrest. Let peace strip from harm and evil. May every door be a passage to your grace and every window open to your blessings.
You know that gut feeling people talk about? Maybe it's not all mystery. Maybe humans actually have a tiny superpower. Dr. Dean Radden at the University of Nevada used an EEG to monitor brain activity and found something weird. Before people were exposed to something bad or traumatic, their brain showed a spike in activity a moment earlier than the event happened. When the event was pleasant, the brain reacted differently too. They found that the brain acts up to about 5 seconds before something happens, and it's a tiny window where the mind knows what's about to come. That, some say, is the biological root of the gut feeling. Is it real precognition or just the brain doing something we don't yet understand? Either way, if the brain can hint at the future even a few seconds ahead, it changes how you think about intuition. Who wouldn't want a 5-second head start? Have you noticed how seasons aren't like they used to be? When you check calendars and the weather, it feels off. Winter comes earlier or later than before, birds and animals are migrating at strange times, places that were always cold are warming up, and areas that were hot are cooling down. A lot of scientists say this is all climate change, but others aren't so sure. Some believe the Earth is shifting on its axis slightly, but enough to throw off time, seasons, and nature itself. If the planet is tilting even a little, then the calendar in the sky would be wrong. Another theory says it's not natural at all and that secret groups are experimenting with weather technology, changing storms, heating skies, and even moving jet streams. So what we're feeling are the side effects. They say the seasons are being rewritten on purpose and nature is paying the price.
So is this just the weather or something even bigger creeping up on us? Like I said 100 times before, let's not mess with Mother Nature, because it'll come and bite us in the ass.
On the 22nd of September 2025, something weird happened at airports. First, Copenhagen and Oslo closed down because unknown objects were reported flying in the area. Then that same day, a man shared a video of a strange sound he heard at Cleveland Airport. Another person also posted a video of the same sound from Cleveland that day. The noise sounds like part robotic, part animal. You can't place it though. It wasn't a plane, and people across different airports heard or saw odd things. The man believes that the airport is possessed by whatever this is. If this wasn't just technology or a test, then what else could it be?
Or is the airport really making this weird noise?
Oh, it was like on Thursday.
Someone shared footage claiming they'd captured a cryptid in the woods at night. As the camera pans up to a tree, it stops right there. There's a big being standing by the tree. It puts its hand on the trunk and seems to smile at the camera. Some say it looks like a humanoid cryptid, maybe a Bigfoot. Others argue it's just a person in a costume. Look at the hand it places on the tree up close. It looks fairly human compared to the rest of the body, which appears covered in dark fur. The face is dark. Some speculate it's a person. It's dark, so details are fuzzy, and the clip leaves a lot up to the eye. So what do you think it is? A homeowner got a motion alert from their living room camera in the middle of the night. When they checked the footage, this is what they found. Something small runs very fast across the room. It moves on 2 legs. The family has a cat, and this shape does not match it. The figure is quick, low to the ground, and odd enough that the owner froze when they saw it on camera. So what could it be? Maybe it's a small animal we don't usually notice in the house, like a raccoon, a possum, or rat caught in a strange stance and blurred by motion. But this is clearly none of those. Some viewers say it looks paranormal, like a tiny humanoid that only appears at night. What are your thoughts? We all know that the Earth only has one moon, but lately people across the United States have been sharing photographs and even videos of what looks like a second moon in the night sky. What makes this even stranger is that the images all seem to show the same thing, 2 moons side by side. Because of that, it's hard to brush it off as just a simple lens flare or camera reflection. So what exactly are we seeing here? Could this be some kind of rare atmospheric phenomenon? Or is there something else out there orbiting the Earth that we don't fully understand yet? Some believe it's a glimpse of a hidden celestial body. Other skeptics argue it's just a trick of the light. If it's not a reflection, then how do we explain so many people capturing the same sight? Could this really mean we're dealing with something bigger than we realize? This image is said to be a leaked photograph of an alien. At first glance, it doesn't look unsettling. The creature has large human-like eyes but no visible nose. Its head is bald and hairless, the skin is wrinkled and flesh-like, and the overall shape of the face is eerily humanoid yet clearly not human. When the image was shown to some groups, it was quirkily dismissed as AI-generated or digitally altered, but many pointed out that it doesn't really look like most of the obvious fakes we see online. The details seem different, almost too specific. That has left people debating whether this could actually be the real deal. So is this just another digital trick to fool people, or are we truly looking at a rare glimpse of something not from our world? Take a look at this drone footage shot in Utah, out in the middle of nowhere. There's a long crack in the earth, and along the fissure, you can see strange structures sitting inside the gap. They look like supports or frames, like someone tried to hold the crack open or build inside it. The fissure runs for a long way, and the drone follows it, and the structures repeat along the line. Could the continent be splitting? Some people say the shapes are just old mine works, collapsed tunnels propped up by leftover beams. Others think it could be a recent man-made reinforcement where the ground failed. If this is abandoned mine work, it's serious but unexplainable. And if it's not, well then what is it? Funeral homes, cemeteries, morgues, even hospitals, and anywhere that deals with dead bodies are places that would be haunted. A man shared 2 clips that pushed that idea further. In the first clip, he was at a funeral parlor where coffins were on display. He noticed one closed coffin door shaking by itself, but when he opened it, there was nothing inside. In the second clip, he was standing in a hallway lined with these steel bars. For no visible reason, several of them began to tip and fall on their own. Some people say this could be staged, but given the location and the things they do there, it's very likely to be real.
Se empiezan a mover así como que medio raro. Miren, 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 miren. Miren cómo se mueve, miren, 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 miren. Otra vez, con ruidos raros. Estoy solo en la chingada. Estoy solo. A la chingada. A la chingada. A la no mames, no mames, no mames. A la chingada.
People are very skeptical these days, and that's usually a good thing, but take a look at this. A homeowner shared their security footage showing the staircase. Watch it closely, and you'll see a path of mist appear out of nowhere and float up the stairs. The family says the movement looks too deliberate to be an ordinary fog. It followed the steps like something choosing its way. Some viewers call that the sign of an entity. Others say it's the kind of trick light or temperature differences made on camera. But we've seen similar clips where spirits seem to manifest as mist.
So, trick of the light or a ghost caught on camera?
There's something strange happening with reality, and people are noticing it everywhere. Look at the stories they're telling us. This woman says she drove past a road, went on for 4 or 5 minutes, then suddenly found herself back at the same spot again. She felt sick and disoriented, convinced she'd been returned to the place she just left. Another woman on TikTok claims she met her future self online and started a conversation with her. This is the kind of claim that would have sounded impossible a few years ago, and the third woman says things in her house are duplicating. She ordered one lamp and received it only to find a second identical lamp on the table later. She had one pizza delivered, and an hour later another one showed up at her door. These aren't neat coincidences. Since the whole CERN machine situation, people say reality has been glitching more and more. Some call it a rip in the timeline, others say it's a leap from a parallel universe where things slip through when the edges get thin. Is this a sign of something big shifting?
This part where the highway does that, there's no trees in the median, and I'm like, wait, that's weird. And then I look and there's an exit for Short Pump, which is like an exit that I'd already passed 5 miles ago.
I think I'm living in a simulation. I got this lamp a few days ago, and then I went to pick up my packages today, and there's another one.
2023, I had a woman. I posted one video on my old account, and this woman found me, claiming she was me from the future, and that TikTok is a portal between parallel universes. And she knew things about me that only I would know. We even had the same name. And no, I did not have my name on my account.
A man visited a cemetery during the Christmas season, filming around to capture the carolers and a man dressed like a statue. At one point, he turned the camera toward himself, trying to frame the entrance behind him. But as he adjusted the camera, he caught something he never noticed at first. There, peeking from the side of the building, was a pale face staring directly at him from behind the wall. Its skin looked so washed out and unnatural that it couldn't have been a living person blending in with the crowd. Was this just a trick of the light, or did the camera catch a ghost? While taking a walk through the woods, someone came across this. A deer was standing still in the path beneath a thick tree canopy, staring directly at them. For a moment, neither moved, but then when the deer realized it was being watched, it slowly turned and walked back into the trees. At first, it looked like nothing unusual, but those who saw the footage all seemed to agree on one thing. There was something off about the way it moved. Some said it looked like a skinwalker, others said it could be a fey trap. The deer's behavior was not ordinary at all. The way it turned, almost as if beckoning the person to follow deeper into the forest, gave an unsettling impression. And that's what makes this more disturbing, is that the story of people vanishing in the woods usually start with things just like this, something leading them deeper until they're never seen again. Maybe the deer was just an animal, or maybe it was something else waiting for its prey to take the bait. We have this footage that was shared by a homeowner. They have a very small kitchen and had set up a camera all over their house, but were shocked when they reviewed the footage later. Look closely at the wall on the right side. Do you see it? A humanoid figure appears, its shadow moving along the wall, and then it walks away. What makes this even stranger is that no person could be seen in the footage at all, only the shadow. Now here's the unsettling part. The space is so small that there's nowhere for someone to have been on that other side to cast that shadow. Could this really be some kind of entity moving through the home unseen? Skeptics suggest there may have been a window nearby and someone outside casting their shadow in the room. But even that explanation doesn't sit right with many who've watched the clip. So if it wasn't a trick of the light, Then something else was walking through those walls. A man kept hearing strange knocks at his front door. Every time he opened it, no one was there. A few days before the knocking began, he'd noticed an old woman standing on the street staring at him, but he didn't pay it much mind. After that, the knocks started and they kept coming late at night. One night, he finally opened the door and found only a single plant root lying on the doorstep. Now he thinks the knocks and the root are connected to the old woman he saw days earlier, and the whole thing has left him unsettled. So what could explain this? Maybe it's a prank to scare him. Maybe someone is playing a message game, leaving odd tokens but never revealing themselves. It could be an animal dragging plant material, and the timing is just a coincidence. On the other hand, some people read strange gifts and repeated knocks as an old folk warning, a superstition, or even a deliberate omen. For those who believe in hauntings or curses, an unexplained item on the doorstep combined with repeated knocks can feel like a targeted message. A man found this old, rusted switcher on a train track deep in the middle of the woods. This track was not supposed to be in use anymore and was completely abandoned for years, but this particular switcher was moving on its own. Curious, the man walked closer, and as he entered, he saw something even more bizarre. Sitting where the driver's seat should have been was a skeleton, but it was clearly a fake one. Then how do you explain the moving switcher when there's no power left running through those lines? Some believe it could be a ghost train reliving its final journey. Others argue that it's just the machinery shifting with age. Yet the switching slider back and forth makes you wonder if maybe some trains never really stop running.
Spooky train of some sort. That's weird. I don't think anybody's driving. I'll top up and see. Whoa, that's a creepy skeleton. This has been moving for a while. Yikes.
A homeowner sent 2 night clips from their kitchen security camera showing things that shouldn't happen by themselves. In the first clip, a food container falls off the counter, but nothing was near the edge to knock it off. From another angle, you can also see the trash can move on its own after. The timing looks deliberate, like something pushed things where no person was visible. In the second clip, a plate on the dining table flips off and smashes on the floor. As you hear it break, a blurry figure streaks through the lower right corner of the frame and is gone before you can tell what it was. The whole thing happened so fast, it feels like whoever or whatever did that didn't want to be seen. So what are the plain possibilities? It could be someone playing a prank, sneaking through the house and hiding just out of camera view. It could be pets, drafts, or an appliance vibration that sets things off in a weird way. Skeptics point to staging or editing. Believers say the timing, the blur, and the force of the throws looks like an unseen presence getting physical. The footage doesn't answer, but it does do one thing. It makes the kitchen feel unsafe. Objects fly, a shadow runs, and the house keeps its secrets. So, check your other cameras and lock the doors, because whatever moved through that room did not come to visit politely.
Poltergeists are definitely real. I can tell you a story about my mother's old house. We had a poltergeist in there, and we had to get an exorcist to actually come in and do something about it. And after he did, we didn't have a problem. But they're real, let me tell you.
This man says he's been experiencing ghostly activity in his home for some time, but until now, nothing has ever tried to harm him or any member of his household. That changed when he shared this strange footage. In the clip, he was simply washing the dishes when out of nowhere, a small green ball rolled off the shelf behind him and struck him hard in the back before bouncing onto the floor. He explained that at the same time, his son was in the living room using a tablet and an Oculus headset, so it couldn't have been him. His wife had also been unwell for a while and was resting upstairs, so she wasn't involved either. That leaves only one explanation in his mind. The entity that had been lurking in his home had finally escalated physically by throwing an object at him. According to him, of course, skeptics are quick to suggest it could have been staged, but we may never really know. If the spirit has just now crossed the line into aggression, the real question is, what happens next?
I was washing dishes and just putting things away, and all of a sudden I feel something hit me in the back and I heard it bounce. Look at this shit. This ball hits me in the back right shoulder out of nowhere.
Do you think there's something there, or is it just the water splashing upward? A woman was at a waterfall filming at the base where the water comes crashing down into the river. At first, everything looks normal, just the endless rush of water, but then right where the water makes contact with the river, something strange appears. It looks like a figure, almost human, crouched low with its back turned to the camera. And then it shifts, almost like it's trying to stand up. The outline is uncanny, as if something or someone is hidden inside the cascade itself. Some say this is just the water forming random shapes, but others believe this could be more than a coincidence. Rather, the water itself can manifest entities, spirits tied to rivers, lakes, and falls. So what do you see here? A simple splash, or the water being revealed? A man had visited an abandoned restaurant, exploring its empty halls with his camera. As he walked through, he suddenly felt a sharp coldness in a certain spot. When the camera panned across one particular corner, something strange appeared. For just a split second, the lens captured the figure of a humanoid shadow standing there. It was gone as quickly as it appeared, vanishing into the darkness. The man walked into the room expecting to see something, but when he looked around with his own eyes, there was nothing at all. No shadow, no figure, just silence and the lingering cold air pressing in on him. It's no wonder this place was abandoned. Whatever resides in there does not want to be disturbed.
Oh, it's cold right here. Yeah, that way.
A family believes that their home might be haunted. The daughter was the first to share her experience. She'd heard strange noises coming from one of the upstairs rooms, so she grabbed her phone and went to investigate. At the end of the room, she noticed the closet door slowly opening and closing on its own, so she walked over and pulled it open only to find absolutely nothing inside. She even checked behind the door, but there was nothing and no one there. Later, the mother also had her own encounter, this time in the basement while doing laundry. She was startled when she suddenly heard a noise. Looking up, she saw one of the clothes hangers swinging back and forth as if something had just brushed past it. She froze in place, confused, before hearing yet another noise in the distance, and as she turned her head, the hanger began swinging violently again, as though whatever was in the room wanted to make sure she noticed it. With incidents happening to more than one family member in different parts of the house, it's hard to dismiss this as coincidence. The activity just doesn't seem playful. It feels deliberate, almost as if something is trying to drive them out. At this point, the family may need to decide whether to keep living alongside whatever is there or finally move out before it escalates any further.
What should I do? Should I go in there? I don't know if I should go in there.
Hello? Oh my god. I know, I just stopped that thing.
This woman is Russian, and she was in the US to test for parasites. But what she found shocked her. Take a listen to what she said.
This is a very sensitive topic. Parasites in the United States. The United States medical system denies the existence of parasites, and you cannot go and do tests for different types of parasites.
In Russia, there are even dedicated hospitals just for checking and treating parasites. Granted, there are a lot of them, but in the US, the approach is much narrower. Here, doctors mostly hand out dewormers for pine worms and a few common types, while ignoring the wide range of other parasites that require thorough medical exams to locate and treat. What's alarming is how many symptoms parasites can mimic. They can cause physical sickness, yes, but also long-term neurological and even mental health issues, which raises a chilling question. Could parasites be playing a bigger role in the rise of certain medical disorders in the US compared to other countries that actively screen and treat for them? When you hear her speak about it, the shock isn't just about what she discovered in her own body. It's about the realization of how blind the system here might be. Imagine if what so many people think of as anxiety, depression, or worse is actually something living inside undiagnosed.
Amount of problems in America, like main problems is what? Anxiety, autoimmune diseases, behavioral change. A lot of people are treated from psychological issues. These can all be parasites. Other parasites, they can be in liver, they can be in brain. You're all asking me like what do Russians do? Russians go to this hospital and there is a screening. There was a whole type of markers. Each specific parasites will be tested. In the United States, you can only buy this one, pinworm medicine, but this is like pinworms. The pinworms are you can get from dogs and cats.
Scientists have allegedly discovered a 2 billion-year-old nuclear reactor in Africa. Alongside this discovery, they found that uranium has already been extracted from the site. This remarkable discovery has stunned the scientific community. Could ancient civilizations really be much smarter than we give them credit for? There are some who seem to think so, like this member of our paranormal community. The reactor, located in MacLeod, Gabon, is believed to have functioned for about 500,000 years. It might have operated through a natural chain reaction using water as a neutron moderator, much like our modern nuclear reactors. Dr. Seaborg, a Nobel Prize-winning chemist who helped discover plutonium, stated that the conditions and the setup of the MacLeod reactor suggest a level of sophistication that seems beyond what we previously believed ancient humans could achieve. Is there a chance we're just repeating their lives and possibly making the same mistakes they made that made these technologies disappear from our history books? A part of me thinks so, but what are your thoughts? In this next footage, a man is seen bent over a river, waving his hand in the water as a large creature approaches from below. I don't know if this is a death wish or what, but it looks like a giant crocodile to me. If it's a crocodile, the man's bravery or recklessness is astonishing. Crocodiles are powerful predators, and getting this close to one is incredibly risky. On the other hand, if it's just a large fish, the situation takes on a completely different tone. Perhaps the man is aware of what's really in the water and is just interacting with a curious but harmless aquatic creature. It's hard to say, but what do you think is happening here?
Oh my gosh. He's talking.
So I wasn't crazy.
No! What the heck? That's crazy.
Yeah.
What else could it say?
I don't know. I don't even know
Tweet,
what
tweet,
he's
tweet.
saying. Tweet, tweet. The bird is actually
It is talking, I swear to God.
Two girls woke up in the morning to find an unexpected visitor on the roof of their car, a bird. But here's the thing, the bird was talking, and it wasn't a parrot. The bird kept repeating a phrase that sounded like, dig a tunnel. At first, I thought this might be some kind of government surveillance bird. You know, one of those conspiracy theories about fake birds being used to spy on people. But after doing a bit of research, I found out there's a much simpler explanation. It turns out there are other birds besides parrots that can learn to mimic human speech, and one of them is the mynah bird. Mynah birds are known for their abilities to learn and replicate sounds they hear frequently, including human speech. They're quite the chatterboxes and can be trained to speak just like parrots. So while it might seem strange and even a little creepy to find a talking bird on your car, it's just nature being fascinating. The next time you hear a bird talking, don't jump to conclusions about spy birds. Just appreciate the wonders of the animal kingdom.
What the heck? That's crazy.
Yeah.
What do you see when you look at this clip? I'm not the only one seeing these two blue blips, right? They remain stationary in the sky and do not move for the entire time this is being filmed. The only change visible is toward the last few minutes of the clip, where they change color from blue to white. Now, this has everyone in my team wondering, is this true footage, or is someone trying to pull a fast one on us? If this is true footage, what are they doing up there, and are we even safe? Take a look at this. A man cuts out the EMV chip, the golden box on a credit card, and inserts it into the SIM card slot of his phone. Incredibly, it connects to a network. What kind of hack is this, and how is it even possible? EMV chips are designed for secure transactions, holding encrypted data that's only supposed to work with payment terminals. But here we see it behaving like a SIM card connecting to a mobile network. There's absolutely no way this is real. We say plants are living things. They can eat, grow, and die. However, they're not as mobile as animals and humans. Their roots plant them firmly in the soil, so walking plants are not a thing, or so I thought until I came across this footage. Someone noticed that the tree in his backyard just uprooted itself from the soil and left. Just look at this. There are no strings or machines around pulling it out. In the subsequent clips, we see a farmer attending to his small plants in a bed when out of nowhere the plants just dashed off. They remind me of the Ents from J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth ancient tree-like beings that can walk and talk. Could there be a basis in reality for such fantastical creatures? If these sightings are genuine, they could signify an entirely new aspect of plant life that we have yet to understand. Imagine the implications for ecology and biology if certain plants could move to new locations. Okay, maybe I shouldn't get ahead of myself. The clips could very well be fake. What do you guys think, though? Our next clip is a tad disturbing and comes from a trail cam that has been left in the woods. Take a look. There was a strange man in a scary clown mask roaming through the forest. When he noticed the camera, he moved closer and put his face right up to the lens before continuing his eerie and creepy walk through the woods. Looking at how late it was, I don't think this clown is up to any good. Clowns, already a common fear for many, became even more terrifying when found lurking in dark, remote woods. The fact that he noticed the camera and deliberately approached suggests a level of awareness and perhaps even a desire to be seen. The isolated setting of the forest, combined with the late hour, makes this encounter particularly disturbing. It also raises several questions. Who is this person? What is he or she doing out there? And what are his or her intentions? A mother was out with her kids enjoying a day in nature when the children came running to tell her they'd seen something strange among the leaves. When she went over to take a look, she saw it, a bizarre-looking caterpillar with a human-like face. The creature was just lying there, staring right back at them. The shocked mother posted the footage online and it quickly went viral. Most internet users speculated wildly, with many saying it was probably an alien baby. Some commenters suggested it might be a rare, undiscovered species, while others thought it could be a caterpillar mutated by environmental factors. What are your thoughts on this? No, that spider isn't moonwalking, but it is walking on water. It looks like something out of a fairy tale, except it's not. This here is a type of tarantula that has tiny hairs on its leg that allow it to avoid breaking surface tension. In simpler terms, this quality allows it to walk on water without sinking. The sight is mesmerizing and a bit eerie. After all, there's a tarantula defying the laws of nature. The tiny hairs, known as setae, are what enable this remarkable feat. The combination of the spider's black body with the striking white spots on its legs makes it look almost otherworldly as it moves effortlessly across the water's surface. But rest assured, nothing alien or paranormal happening here. It's just science. If any of you come across any of these spiders, share your experience. Now take a look at another wonder that was captured by a group of hikers. They stumbled upon this massive rock structure, but guess what? They discovered that this rock wasn't just a solid mass. It had compartments with doors that could be opened, leading into a tunnel. Being the logical beings they are, they didn't dare venture inside. Around the world, there are numerous secret facilities, many constructed during wartime for people to hide out. Interestingly, in some of these facilities, strange and suspicious things have been found that don't quite fit the narrative of being mere wartime hideouts for soldiers. Considering this stone structure in the middle of nowhere, what could have been done there? Was it an ancient facility of some sort, or perhaps the lair of an intelligent being? Some think that it's how Bigfoot hides from us. Sounds ludicrous, I know, but we still need an explanation, so share your thoughts.
A lifetime of eating raw fish left this poor gentleman with this level of parasites throughout his entire body. Folks, you're not going to get rid of stuff like this, so eat the right things.
What this man is holding is a scan of another man's body, and if you take a closer look, you'll notice something truly disturbing. These white lines scattered throughout the image. Believe it or not, these are worms. Yes, worms infesting his body after consuming raw fish over a prolonged period. The man had been a fan of eating raw fish, likely enjoying sushi or sashimi regularly, and over time this led to a severe parasitic infection. The worms managed to infiltrate his body, spreading internally to the point where they appeared all throughout his skin. It's a terrifying reminder of what can happen when parasites go unchecked. Even the doctor who reviewed the case expressed concern, saying that removing all the worms might be impossible due to the extent of the infestation. The worms had taken over much of the man's internal system that it was unclear how they could safely extract every last one. This type of parasitic infection, often caused by consuming improperly prepared raw seafood, highlights the risks that come with not cooking food thoroughly. So for all the sushi lovers out there, while sushi can be delicious and enjoyable, it's important to be extra cautious.
Make sure you're getting your fish from reputable places that take great care in ensuring the food is parasite-free, because as this shocking case shows, the consequences can be life-altering and downright horrifying.
A lifetime of eating raw fish left this poor gentleman with this level of parasites throughout his entire body. Folks, you're not going to get rid of stuff like this, so eat the right things.
Someone stumbled upon this fascinating tree deep in the forest, and as you can see, there's clear, fresh water gushing out from its trunk. This sight is undeniably odd, especially considering the surrounding environment looks dry and there hasn't been any rain for quite some time. So what could this possibly be that's going on here? Well, it turns out this isn't just any ordinary tree. It's a Terminalia tomentosa, known for its unique ability to store water in its trunk. This tree can release water even during dry spells, acting as a natural reservoir. It's quite amazing how nature can create such a system, with trees like these helping maintain life even in the driest conditions. But imagine stumbling upon something like this without knowing the science behind it. It would feel like the tree itself was alive, offering a mysterious gift from within. Wouldn't that be an eerie yet magical moment in the middle of a forest? Moving on, what do we have here? An 8-foot-long centipede-like creature? How is this even possible? The paranormal community has been buzzing with this video and people are divided on what it really is. Some are calling it a cryptid, while others are convinced it's edited footage, one made from clever CGI or special effects. Looking at it, I'm tempted to join the AI gang on this. Before Julius went on his trip, he saw this clip and told me there were no creatures like this. I did my research and found nothing too. Our in-house video editor also stated that this was more 3D than it was realistic. Looking at it again, I get where they're coming from, and I believe this is definitely not real. Despite this assertion, there are some who are unable to tell if it's real or not. Some have even advocated that it be killed. The only reason they will do that is if they believed it was real. This has left me wondering, am I thinking it isn't real because the two skeptics on my team convinced me that it was not, or is that really the case? Share your opinion. Do you think it's real? Or do you side with us in believing this is nothing but CGI? Speaking of thoughts, what are yours on divine intervention? Because the story I'm about to tell you might just blow your mind. The title of the world's luckiest man goes to Frane Selak. For those unfamiliar with the name, Frane Selak is a music teacher from Croatia whose life has been characterized by unbelievable escapes and near-death experiences that seem almost too incredible to be real. His story is a roller coaster of extraordinary events that have left many wondering if divine intervention played a role in his remarkable survival. In 1962, Frane was on a train that derailed and plunged into an icy river. 17 passengers drowned, but Frane managed to swim to safety with only a broken arm and hypothermia. The following year, during his first and only plane flight, the doors suddenly blew off and he was sucked out of the aircraft. Incredibly, he landed in a haystack and survived with minor injuries while the plane crashed, killing 19 people on board. But it didn't stop there. Over the years, Frane's life was dotted with more miraculous escapes. A bus crashed into a river, a car fire that engulfed his vehicle in flames, being hit by a city bus, and another car crash that saw his vehicle explode after he just managed to escape. In 1995, while driving on a mountain road, his car collided with a truck, causing his car to burst into flames. Miraculously, he managed to escape without any serious injuries. 2 years later, he narrowly avoided another fatal accident when he was struck by a bus in Zagreb, walking away with minor injuries once again. The most astounding part of Frame's story came in 2003 when he won the lottery, pocketing nearly $1 million. After all those years of close calls with death, it seemed the universe finally decided to reward him. What do you think? Does Frame's story make you believe in the possibility of divine intervention, or do you think it's all just a series of incredible coincidences?
Are you giving Daddy his tools?
For this next clip, well, I have no words, just take a look. Do you think the little girl would have really stabbed her dad? Could it be a case of not knowing what she was doing, or was she briefly possessed by something or someone? Share your thoughts.
Are you giving Daddy his tools?
The economy we once knew has drastically changed, and this video breaks it down in a way that really hits home. Just look at how this man explains it.
Movie Home Alone in 1990, Kevin McAllister gets a bunch of groceries that cost $19. A woman in Chicago bought the same things in 2023 and it went up to $72. But you know what people aren't talking about? The income. In 1990, Kevin spent $19 and the median household income was around $40,000. Fast forward to 2022, the groceries basically doubled and so did the income. So that makes sense. But then if you hop just 12 more months, and let's be generous because this is Chicago, this is one grocery store, that doesn't represent all of America. Let's bring this down to even $62 to be a little fair here. That's still a 1.4 times increase on the groceries. So if income would have kept up with these groceries, the average American family should be bringing in $113,000 a year, not 81. And how funny is this? Look at the housing prices. The same thing. There's a pattern. In 1990, the average home was $78,000, median household income $40,000, and you only needed $21,000 to qualify for this house in the 90s. Fast forward to today, the average home sits at $412,000 in this country. The median household income is $81,000. And guess what you need to earn to qualify for this house? $115,000. It's the exact same thing as the groceries because everything in this country in the past 3 years has literally gone up anywhere from 20 to 60% except the income.
It's insane when you think about it. Groceries, housing, and just about everything we buy has skyrocketed in price due to inflation. Yet wages haven't kept up. The cost of living has far outpaced our income, and people are feeling the squeeze like never before. So how are we supposed to survive in this kind of economy, or rather, how do you survive? Any tips you can share?
And guess what you need to earn to qualify for this house? $115,000. It's the exact same thing as the groceries because everything in this country in the past 3 years has literally gone up anywhere from 20 to 60% except the income.
Ya, teman-teman. Tuh. Oke, saya dapat.
Harumnya.
This man came across a strange-looking creature in a cave. It's said that the creature is a cave gremlin. It was a miniature being with dark, beady eyes and a mouth with teeth sticking out. Many would have run at the sight of this creature, but the man took the creature home, cooked it, and ate it. Yes, this man ate a gremlin. That is one of the most bizarre things I've ever come across on the internet. Gremlins are often considered mythical creatures with various stories and legends attributing them with magical or mischievous qualities. Eating a potential mystical or unknown creature not only disregards cultural and mythical significances, but also poses serious health risks. Who knows what kind of diseases or toxins an unknown creature might carry? If this is indeed real, do you think people should show more respect for unknown and mythical creatures, or should turning them into delicacies be the acceptable norm? Share your thoughts.
Harumnya.
While out in the woods with a friend who was attending to some dried plants, a man started filming and panning his camera around. While we can't tell why he was doing it, we do see something unusual coming into view. Running pretty fast behind a tree was this strange miniature creature. The creature wasn't very far from them and seemed to be running away from the worksite. This creature was clearly bipedal and had largely oddly shaped ears. You can't make out the rest of its features. Some suggest it's an animal known for its ability to stand on two legs, with a small primate or even a kangaroo rat. Others lean toward a more fantastical explanation, a fairy tale creature like a goblin or a forest sprite. Given the short clip, it's hard to tell, but what do you think this mysterious miniature bipedal creature with large ears could be? Let us know in the comments. Next, we've got a celebrity, or rather criminal elephant that appears to have caused a traffic jam on the road. We've seen elephants beg for snacks from drivers in regions like this, but never have we seen one so intent on damaging or sitting on a vehicle. What do you think could have prompted the big guy to do something like this? An act of vengeance, perhaps elephants don't forget? Or is this big guy just being petty and wanting to sit on the vehicle? Frankly speaking, it's hard to say, but what does your power of deduction tell you about this clip? Here we have a hand holding a green bell pepper, but there's something unusual inside the vegetable. The thumb presses into the pepper, exposing a small hole, and you can see something moving inside. After a moment, something emerges. It's a huge brown insect with a black spot on its head. This insect is called Achymitrata tessellata. Discovering an insect inside your food is always unsettling, but this particular find is both fascinating and creepy. While entomologists might enjoy this, the everyday person would not. The Archimandrita tessellata, or giant peppered roach, while beautiful, can be scary if you hate bugs. Nonetheless, its large size and distinctive markings make it a striking and memorable sight. Bell peppers, like many fruits and vegetables, can sometimes harbor insects that burrow inside, looking for a safe place to hide or feed. It's a natural part of the ecosystem, though it's definitely startling to come across such a visitor in your produce. I just don't get why people put themselves through the torture of going into abandoned houses. They are likely hotspots for paranormal activities. Take a look at this footage, for instance. A woman goes into an abandoned building. She moves from room to room until she gets to one of the toilets, and this happens. In the toilet is black hair that looks like there's a head under the seat. The toilet lid suddenly slams open and closes as soon as the woman gets closer. It's as if the entity is warning her from getting any nearer. This makes her slowly back away from the place. Who knows what entities or spirits linger in these forgotten structures? Would you dare to explore an abandoned house, knowing what might be waiting for you inside? Ever heard of the Wiseman's Woods in England? No? Legend has it that in the past, druids used to perform rituals and sacrifices there, and because of this, the woods are known to harbor a lot of spirits. Recently, a young man shared this chilling video on his social media that has everyone talking.
Walking for like an hour now. It is
pissing it down. These two are doing my head in. It's getting dark. I have no idea where the dog is. What?
He had taken his little siblings out for a walk in these very woods. They had been out for so long that it was starting to get dark, and he was getting increasingly frustrated trying to wrangle his siblings back toward home. In a moment of exasperation, he decided to record a video of himself and his siblings to capture their antics. As he was filming, his camera inadvertently caught something terrifying. Behind him, among the trees, there was a dark figure. It moved very quickly and seemed to vanish almost instantly. What makes this even more unsettling is that they were in the infamous Wiseman's Woods. Given the history of this place, it's not surprising that many in the paranormal community believe the figure in the video could be one of the many entities rumored to haunt the woods. Is that the case, though? It's hard to confirm it, but let us know your thoughts in the comments section.
It's getting dark. I have no idea where the dog is.
Have you ever wondered about the eating habits of a Sasquatch? Most accounts suggest they eat berries and fruits. Deer hunters also report spotting the creatures lingering around their hunting sites after a kill, and people often find deer carcasses around Bigfoot hotspots. Is this all hinting that these ape-like humanoids are omnivorous, meaning that they eat both plants and animals like humans do? Reports from eyewitnesses and researchers often describe Sasquatch foraging for berries, nuts, and other fruits in the wild. This aligns with the diet of many large primates who rely on vegetation for sustenance. The presence of berry bushes and fruit trees in areas with frequent Sasquatch sightings supports this theory. However, the reports from deer hunters add an intriguing layer to our understanding. Hunters have observed Sasquatch near their hunting grounds, sometimes after a kill, suggesting that these creatures might scavenge or even hunt for meat. The discovery of deer carcasses in Bigfoot hotspots strengthens the argument that Sasquatch may have a diverse diet, including animal proteins. If Sasquatch is indeed omnivorous, this dietary flexibility could explain how they survive in various environments, from dense forests to mountainous regions. Here we have a close-up of someone's thigh, and the muscles are twitching intensely. This is definitely muscle spasms, and it looks very painful. To provide some context, muscle spasms or muscle cramps are sudden, involuntary contractions of a muscle or group of muscles. They can be extremely painful and may last for a few seconds to several minutes. These spasms can occur in any muscle in the body, but are most common in the legs, particularly the thighs and calves. There are many potential causes for muscle spasms. They can be triggered by overuse of the muscle during physical activity, dehydration, or a lack of minerals such as potassium or magnesium. In some cases, that might be linked to medical conditions like nerve compression, insufficient blood supply, or even certain medications. Seeing muscle spasms up close like this really highlights how intense and uncomfortable they can be. Have you ever had a muscle spasm? What was it like, and how did you deal with it? A camera set up in a park captured something unusual during one of its recordings. When reviewing the footage, the team noticed an odd clip. From the left side of the screen, a bright floating light drifts in a view. But this isn't just another orb, it has a distinct portal-like glow illuminating the air around it. The light hovers briefly, moving slightly before floating back the way it came. The real mystery isn't just what this light might be, it's a debate over its authenticity. Julius, the resident skeptic, quickly dismissed it as a hoax, suspecting it was another staged attempt to generate buzz. Even Aaron, who's typically open to paranormal explanations, leaned toward it being fake. A rare stance for him. So what do you think? Is this strange light real or fake? A homeowner captured something eerie on a camera they'd set up inside their house, looking through a large glass wall toward the outside. At first, everything appeared normal for the first minute, but then something bizarre happened. A very dark, thick mass floated by outside. Initially, it seemed like it might be just some debris or a dark plastic bag blowing in the wind, especially since it was almost touching the ground. But when the footage was slowed down, it became clear that this was no ordinary object. It was a moving mass with a shape and motion that didn't resemble any typical debris. It's almost as though it were a living thing. You've seen the clip. What do you also think this dark mass could be? This Trailcam image was shared by a man claiming to capture a Bigfoot. Take a look at the body proportions. It's undeniably intriguing. However, unlike the typical Bigfoot sightings we've seen, this creature doesn't have the distinct domed head, and its body size is noticeably smaller than the massive figures we usually associate with Bigfoot. Julius believes this could be AI generated, dismissing the image as digitally altered. Meanwhile, Aaron suggests it might just be a smaller Bigfoot or perhaps a juvenile version. The details are still quite mysterious. What do you think could be this real encounter with a small Bigfoot, or are we looking at a clever manipulation? This Erie train track security footage has been circulating online, leaving many people unsettled. In the dead of night, the camera captured something truly chilling: ghostly entities appearing along the tracks. 3 translucent, human-shaped figures materialized, 2 on the left side of the track and 1 on the right. What makes this footage even more disturbing is that these ghostly apparitions seem to be interacting with one another, as if engaged in some kind of silent conversation. Their movements were faint but undeniable, and they lingered at the tracks, oblivious to the camera. It raises questions. Were these restless spirits trapped in a moment of their past, tied to a tragic event on these tracks? Thanks to this channel, I've seen some wild stuff, but this, well, I haven't come across anything like this. This creature apparently is called the Aurelia Colossus, and it's completely new to me. If that name doesn't ring a bell, don't worry, I did some digging. Turns out it's a cryptid, said to be an enormous jellyfish with glowing, translucent tentacles that stretch for hundreds of feet. It's described as an eerie guardian of the ocean's deepest, darkest reaches. Now, most cryptids come with mountains of lore, but with Aurelia, information is surprisingly scarce. Should we take that as a sign it's a well-kept secret, known only by a select few? Or is it just something someone made up to grab a few minutes of fame? What do you think? Imagine boarding a plane in London and just 1 hour later you're stepping off in New York. This might sound like a scene from science fiction, but Venus Aerospace is bringing it closer to reality with its hypersonic jet, the Stargazer. This innovative aircraft is being designed to hit speeds of Mach 9, 9 times the speed of sound, making it possible to travel between cities at record-breaking speed. So how does the Stargazer plan to achieve this? by combining jet engines for takeoff with rocket engines that cruise at an astounding 170,000 feet, where it can maintain its near unbelievable speed. Currently, it's in its prototype phase. Venus Aerospace has already tested a drone version reaching Mach 0.9. While true hypersonic passenger travel is still a few years away, this upcoming test flight is a monumental step toward reshaping the future of air travel. Of course, it's likely to start with military applications, but there's hope we'll get a taste of it ourselves. Imagine the possibilities for industries, economies, and cultural exchange when global travel takes just a fraction of today's time. Here's hoping this leap in technology becomes available to us all sooner rather than later. What do you think? Will we see hypersonic passenger travel in our lifetime? Scientists have been working on bringing the woolly mammoth back from extinction for some time now, and in 2024, things are progressing. They reserved a park in Siberia and are actively testing ways to merge mammoth DNA with modern technology to create embryos. By implanting these embryos into Indian elephants, they hope to revive the mammoth species, aiming for a population of 100 woolly mammoths this year. It's fascinating to think how the potential of scientific advancements in resurrecting extinct species, but it also raises some big questions. Were these massive creatures ever meant to coexist with humans? What will happen when we start to bring them back? Are we prepared for the consequences, or is this just another case of science pushing boundaries without fully understanding the implications? A homeowner had been experiencing an unsettling, eerie feeling every night after everyone had gone to sleep. Despite searching the house thoroughly and setting up cameras, nothing ever showed up. But the feeling persisted, so they decided to take a different approach. One night, the family stayed away from the house and set up cameras once again, hoping to catch whatever might be causing this disturbing sensation. When they returned to review the footage, what they found was horrifying. There, outside one of the windows, stood a hideous creature. Its skin was a deep, unnatural red, and its eyes glowed menacingly in the darkness. Even more terrifying were its razor-sharp teeth, clearly visible as it pressed its face close to the glass, silently watching the house. The creature didn't attempt to break in and didn't make a sound, but its presence alone was enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. The homeowner was left terrified by what the cameras had captured. What could this thing be? A nightmare come to life? Something paranormal? Share your thoughts. This next footage was captured by a couple visiting a museum. They were observing the display of the head of Tutankhamun, an ancient pharaoh enclosed in glass under dim lighting. As they were filming the artifact, something unexpected occurred. On the glass enclosure, a face appeared. It was the face of a man staring directly into the camera. The face bore an uncanny resemblance to the statue of Tutankhamun and even had the look like a scarf on. The couple were startled by this discovery as they claimed to be the only ones near the display at the time. The rest of the visitors were focused on other exhibits, so it didn't seem like it could have been a reflection of anyone else in the room. Do you think this could have been the spirit of the pharaoh himself, or perhaps some other entity present within the museum? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. No one loves accidents, but have you ever wondered what happens to the souls of individuals who don't survive such events? No? Well, take a look at this. A few seconds into the clip, we witness an unfortunate accident. We aren't here to debate whose fault it is, but pay attention to the clip. Do you see the translucent being moving? That's not normal, is it? It's almost as though one of the drivers might have died in the crash and his or her soul was roaming the accident scene. At least, that's my interpretation of the scene. What's yours? Humans are one of the most cunning and dangerous creatures in the world, and this could very well be our downfall.
There's some kind of object that's suspended in the air. It's hard to tell. It's pretty small.
Recently, military whistleblower Danny Sheehan came forward with some startling information. The US military is allegedly deploying soldiers to seek out alien technology and bring it back for their own use. It's no wonder they have been evasive when asked about alien control and UFOs. They want to harness alien tech to gain military dominance around the world. But if you ask me, this seems like a recipe for disaster. On one hand, the potential benefits of such technology could be enormous, leading to advancements in medicine, energy, and more. However, the risks are equally significant. By attempting to take alien technology, we may be provoking entities that are far more advanced than us. It's like a modern-day Pandora's box. Once opened, the consequences could be catastrophic. The possibility of a retaliatory strike from these extraterrestrial beings is not something to be taken lightly. What do you think about these revelations, though? Do you believe we should be pursuing alien technology, or is it too dangerous? Imagine walking into your room and seeing a black cat doing this. Given how people often feel about black cats and associating them with superstitions and bad luck, you know anyone seeing this wouldn't be happy. This prompted the lady in question to start recording, and it only got worse with time. As you can see in the footage, the cat begins to twitch with its neck stretched out in an unusual manner. The woman understandably gets scared and keeps her distance while continuing to record. A commenter mentioned that the cat might be having a seizure, which is a plausible explanation for the strange behavior. Seizures in cats can look quite alarming, with twitching, muscle contractions, and unusual postures. If this is indeed a seizure, then this is sad. Are there any cat lovers or vets here? Can you confirm if we're dealing with a cat acting evil or one that needed its owners and they ran away? These days, artificial intelligence is revolutionizing the way we create and experience art, from generating stunning visuals based on simple prompts to producing entirely new styles of expression. AI tools have opened up a world of creative possibilities that were once unimaginable. But with this rise in AI-generated art, one big question arises. Can these creations hold actual value like traditional art, or could they even be worth serious money? Well, here's an interesting case for you. A painting titled AI God was created entirely by an AI bot, and it's shaking up the art world. This painting was recently put up for auction, and it's reportedly being sold for a jaw-dropping $120,000. That's right. An artwork made by artificial intelligence is fetching a price that many human artists could only dream of. This sale isn't just a fluke either. AI art has been gaining traction with collectors and enthusiasts starting to see it as a valuable collectible form of creativity. The painting AI God is just one example, but it reflects a broader trend where AI-generated pieces are becoming more than just a novelty. They're being recognized as serious art that holds its own in the market. In this footage, a group of friends went hiking in the mountains, capturing their entire adventure on camera. As they were filming each other, climbing down, everyone looked thrilled, smiling for the camera, completely unaware of an extra presence among them. Just behind the group near a tree, a mysterious figure can be seen watching them. At the time, none of them noticed it, not even the person behind the camera, too focused on the stunning scenery. But when they reviewed the footage later, they were stunned by what they'd captured. What could that figure have been?
Minute encounter between a glowing blue barbell-shaped UFO, half the length of a football field in size. It came from 3 witnesses, including a Pentagon engineering contractor. This happened in southwestern Ontario in August 2013, about 11 years ago. One of the witnesses describing an indigo plasma that covered most of this craft, claiming the craft rotated slowly for about 6 or 7 minutes while emitting an electrical spark-like shower. One witness attempted to film the craft with his camera phone, only to get static when he did, despite the camera working before and after the encounter.
Back in 2013 in southwestern Ontario, 3 people witnessed a UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon. One of the witnesses was a Pentagon official engineer, adding credibility and intrigue to the sighting. According to their accounts, there was a barbell-shaped craft in the sky. The initial photo taken was grainy, making it hard to discern details. However, after the image was enhanced and worked on, this is what they came up with. The barbell shape is unusual and unlike any known aircraft, which has fueled speculation and debate. Some suggest it could be a military secret project, while others lean toward the possibility of extraterrestrial origin. What do you think? Could this be an advanced human-made craft, or is it something from another world? A man takes a video of how he gets to his room when he gets home. It's not clear if he lives in a house or an apartment, but the turns and stairs he has to take make it look like a journey of doom. Take a look at what I'm talking about.
Oh shit. I'm here.
The path he navigates is like something out of our horror movie. Dimly lit hallways, creaky stairs, and narrow passages. Each step seems to lead deeper into a labyrinth. You can almost feel the tension as he moves through the shadows, the anticipation building with every twist and turn. When he finally reaches his destination, his room is very small. Just look at how confined the space is. The eerie walk to get there and the cramped quarters make it feel like he's living in a nightmare. In today's world, where as so much of our personal and sensitive information is stored on computers, we rely heavily on passwords and security measures to keep it all safe. But just how secure is that information? A hacker recently shared a tactic that is as clever as it is frightening, and it makes you wonder how easily our digital lives could be compromised. The method he describes involves something as simple as a USB flash drive. Here's how it works. The hacker modifies a USB drive, programming it to automatically install malware when plugged into a computer. Then they deliberately leave the drive lying around in a public place, maybe on the ground outside an office, in a parking lot, or even in a coffee shop. This is to bait someone into picking it up out of curiosity. Once the unsuspected person plugs the USB into their computer to check what's inside, the malware silently installs itself, giving the hacker remote access to the computer's files, passwords, and personal data. It happens so fast that the user might not even notice anything unusual. Most of us wouldn't think twice about picking up a flash drive and checking it out, but that simple action can open the door to a cyber attack. So next time you see a strange USB stick lying around, think twice before plugging it into your device. It's not worth the risk. Meanwhile, over in America, reports have allegedly surfaced of a U.S. warplane near the Canadian border shooting down a UFO. This isn't the first time something like this has happened either. In fact, 3 aerial objects have been shot down in the U.S. recently, and the mystery deepens as no one seems to know exactly what these objects are. One report describes one of these objects as octagonal in shape. What makes it even more puzzling is that the pilots who were ordered to take down these objects each gave different descriptions of what they saw. So, could these mysterious objects be something extraterrestrial? Are we dealing with advanced technology from beyond Earth? Or is there something else going on? If you travel around, then sitting in cars with leaking roofs is nothing new. But what happens when you're on a plane and water starts dripping from the fuselage or ceiling? Jumping off is not an option, which is why no one will expect something like this. The individuals in this clip, however, seem unbothered. The individuals who recorded refuse to mention the airline in India whose plane this is. Some have expressed concern about the fact that none of the passengers are reacting. There are 2 theories. Either they're used to stuff like this and probably seem worse, or the clip is fake. You've seen the clip as well, so what do you think? In Egypt during Easter, scientists detected a fascinating phenomenon near the pyramids of Giza, a space bubble hovering above the ancient structures. These bubbles, known as equatorial plasma bubbles, or EPBs for short, are pockets of low-density plasma that occur in Earth's ionosphere, typically around the equator. EPBs are often invisible to the naked eye but can be detected with specialized equipment. They occur when disturbances in the Earth's magnetic field cause variations in plasma density, leading to these bubbles of less concentrated ionized gas. This phenomena can interfere with satellite signals and radio communications, making their detection critical for technological systems. What are your thoughts on these space bubbles? Could they hold any deeper mysteries, or are they just another natural phenomenon explained by science?
What the f*** is that? I can't take it down.
This video was shared by a family who had an unusual experience while on the road. They claimed that as the car drove past them, they noticed something strange about the driver. It didn't seem to be human. According to the footage, the figure driving the car had a blue-tinted appearance. Some speculate that the driver was a robot, while others believe it might have been something more mysterious, like a reptilian being. The image is unclear, leaving room for interpretation, but the oddity of its appearance is undeniable. I'm not sure what to make of this either. Alien, reptilian being, someone late for a Halloween party. It's hard to say, but what do you think?
What the is that? I can't take this one out. I can't take this one out.
This video was shared by a remote village. A man had spotted something eerie one early morning. At the top of a very tall tree, a humanoid figure appeared. Only the upper body was visible peeking through the leaves high up in the sky. The figure seemed to resemble a woman, and she was lifting her hands, swaying them about in the air in a haunting, almost ritualistic manner. What makes this sighting even stranger is the lore surrounding it. Some villagers believe these figures are witches. They say there are women in the village who practice witchcraft and can manipulate the elements, even taking to the skies. Others, however, claim they're not human at all, but rather mysterious creatures, something beyond explanation. What do you think? Could this be a witch in the midst of a ritual, or something more supernatural, perhaps even otherworldly? Still on Ring door cams, take a look at this image. What do you see? A young man by the door, right? Well, this young man came home late, say 1 a.m., and wanted to be let in. His family at home used the Ring door cam to confirm that he was exactly who he said he was. While he was waiting to be in, his family asked him who he was coming home with. This shocked him because he was alone by the door and, well, they could see from the camera. He then told them he was alone, which also shocked them. Why, you ask? Well, because this is what they could see. They could see a translucent man behind him. Initially, they thought the camera was recording poorly because it was dark, but when the guy confirmed there was no one behind him, it shocked them. They tried to get to the bottom of this, and there was indeed no one there. This got them thinking, and they remembered that someone had actually died in front of their home recently. It was a homeless man who had overdosed. So it got them wondering if that was the man's ghost, and there was no other logical conclusion. They uploaded the clip to a paranormal platform seeking answers. Let's assume they can see this video. And what response would you give them? A hiker in the middle of nowhere captured a peculiar sight, a bright speck of light floating in the distance. The video shows this glowing object hovering steadily, its brightness cutting through the dark wilderness. The footage raises an intriguing question. Is this a natural phenomenon, a clever hoax, or something otherworldly? Some viewers speculate it could be a drone with lights, or perhaps a reflection caused by atmospheric conditions. Others argue it might be paranormal or even a UFO encounter. What do you think? A man had been complaining for weeks about hearing strange noises coming from outside his door at night. At first, it was mostly indistinct sounds, but on one particular night, things took an even creepier turn. The noises weren't just random anymore. They sounded almost human, as if it was a woman's voice calling out, saying hello in a taunting tone. The way the voice echoed didn't feel natural at all. You can clearly hear these eerie whispers and distorted sounds coming directly from the door. It's as if something was trying to lure him into opening it. But the man wasn't about to take the risk. He refused to open the door, convinced that whatever was out there was not human. Many in the paranormal community believe this could be a trick mimic. It is an entity capable of imitating voices to trick people into letting them inside. What would you do in this situation? Would you open the door or check, or would you ignore it and hope it eventually goes away?
No sé, pero no parece un avión. No sé qué fue eso, pero cayó aquí cerca.
Next, we visit Austin, where a man believes he might have just recorded footage of a UFO. It was supposed to be a day like any other, only it was not, because there was an unidentified flying object in the sky. This object flew and somehow landed in an area not far from him. Being the brave adventurer he was, he headed to the location and found it in flames. Before he could properly explore, law enforcement arrived and insisted he delete the videos he had recorded so far. In fact, they stood there and made sure he deleted the clips, but thank God for recycle bins. Once he was out of their presence, he recovered the clips and shared what they are seeing online. He couldn't get the juicier things because he was stopped. He did mention that since uploading the clips, he's been having strange visitors at his workplace. It was so unsettling that he started staying home. Even then, they started visiting his home, and when he shared this story, it naturally went viral because, well, who doesn't love a good alien story? While some tried to get more info from him, there was one person who did a critical analysis of the clip and stated what the man had seen was most likely a nautical flare and not a UFO. For those unfamiliar with them, nautical flares are visual distress signals used at sea to indicate emergencies, typically burning brightly in red or orange to attract attention. They can be mistaken for UFOs because they burn intensely, hover or drift in the sky, and sometimes move unpredictably due to the wind. Their bright, long-lasting glow and sudden appearance can confuse observers unfamiliar with maritime distress signals. They can also catch fire when they land in dry areas, but, well, this is Austin. How does one end up there? While it's highly unlikely, it's not impossible. If a maritime distress flare was launched over a body of water near Austin, such as Lake Travis or the Colorado River, it could, under the right conditions, drift over land. However, since Austin is far from the coast, the chances of a true nautical flare reaching the city from the ocean are practically zero. At least that's what Julius says. So what do you think? A family enjoying a day out in a field decided to record a video to capture the moment. Everything appeared normal at first until they reviewed the footage they'd just captured. Out of nowhere, a bicycle without a rider zipped past at an incredible speed. It was so fast that none of the family members noticed it during the actual event. Only upon watching the video later did they spot the strange occurrence. Could this be an elaborate hoax? A cleverly controlled remote bike, or perhaps even something supernatural? Others suggest it might be a video editing trick. What do you think? In the past, when modern technology and advanced tools were not yet developed, people had to rely on their ingenuity and resourcefulness to survive and thrive. One remarkable example of this innovation is this. This gear is robust and meticulously designed with spikes from head to toe. This was specifically designed for hunting Siberian bears in the 1800s. This gear was essential for hunters who faced the harsh conditions of the wilderness and the formidable nature of their prey. Constructed from durable materials, it combines functionality with resilience, allowing hunters to effectively pursue and capture these powerful animals while ensuring their safety. Would you use this to go hunting for a Siberian bear? Take a good look at this photograph. Do you see the individual standing in the window? They're a mix of children and adults. I know what you're probably thinking. Why am I showing you images of individuals in their apartment building or hospital? And you wouldn't be wrong for thinking that, but you aren't right either. The location in the image is Waverly Hills, and if you're unfamiliar with it, the Waverly Hills Sanatorium, located in Louisville, Kentucky, is one of the most famous haunted places in the U.S. Originally opened in 1910 as a tuberculosis hospital, it housed thousands of patients during the early 20th century when the disease had no cure. Due to the high death toll, the hospital even had a body chute, a tunnel used to discreetly remove the deceased to avoid lowering morale among patients. After closing in 1961, Waverly Hills became a magnet for ghost stories with claims of shadow figures, ghostly voices, and apparitions of former patients. Paranormal investigators often report strange occurrences, making it a hotspot for ghost tours and supernatural enthusiasts. This image was captured recently when there was no one supposed to be there. Do you think the rumors and everything we've heard about the place are true? Do you have first-hand experience? Kindly share your thoughts with us in the comments section. When you're out in the woods at night, it's not uncommon to see glowing eyes staring back at you. The main thing to be concerned about is who those eyes belong to, a predator or simply something more sinister. An individual was walking through the woods when he noticed this single glowing eye moving through the darkness. It shifted positions, almost as if it were watching. Since it was too dark to make out any clear shape, he couldn't tell what kind of creature it was. Some people speculated it could be a shapeshifter, while other skeptics pointed out something interesting. Below the glowing eye, there was a faint reflection, something that looked strangely like a shoe. Could this have been just a person in the woods with a reflective shoe and a flashlight? Kindly take a second and third look and share your thoughts.
Start my beak!
Recently, Israel conducted an operation involving the release of a bomb in Syria, and the aftermath of this explosion has raised significant concerns. The type of weapon used was not a conventional nuclear bomb, rather it was an earthquake bomb specifically designed to create seismic disturbances. This bomb targeted a Syrian military weapons station. Remarkably, the explosion was so intense that it recorded a magnitude of 3.0 on seismic monitors, indicating that its impact was notable even outside the immediate vicinity of the explosion site. Israel claims that this operation was aimed at destroying military assets and weaponry, but the use of an earthquake bomb brings about serious implications. The existence and deployment of such destructive weapons elicit worry, as they have the potential to cause significant damage and loss of life. What could happen if such a powerful device were to be detonated in densely populated areas? The risks associated with the use of earthquake bombs in human settlements underscores the need for careful consideration regarding military tactics and the weapons we have at our disposal.
Because they're but they like you a lot.
They're acting fucking rude to me.
They're not trying. That's just how they
There are many New Age beliefs these days, and people are more in tune with the ideas of energy and the spiritual aspects surrounding us than we might realize. Take a look at this footage. A couple was in the kitchen arguing about how the man's friends didn't like his girlfriend. As they exchanged words, something unexpected happened. A glass fell, but it was not in the camera's view. We can only hear it, causing the couple to turn and look. Oddly enough, the woman exited the room, but the occurrences continued. The man was standing in front of an open cabinet filled with glass plates, and suddenly all the plates slid out onto the ground, startling him and making him step back in shock. Many paranormal believers suggest that this entire situation could be linked to the negative energy from their argument, or that the woman's anger might have triggered some sort of energy that manifested in this way. Some are skeptical, though. The reason is there's no way anyone would film such a sensitive interaction and upload it. While I understand where they're coming from, there's also the possibility that they have cams set up around the house. This may just have been a coincidence. Maybe. What do you think? Fake, or is there something paranormal going on?
They're not trying. That's just how they.
This video is definitely unsettling. At first, it looks like a normal person opening the door. But here's the thing. No one was supposed to be inside. The homeowner was the only person living there. The footage shows a figure opening the door from the inside, allowing the man to enter. However, there was no one else in the house. The homeowner had felt strange things before, like an unseen presence, but never had proof. So he set up cameras around the house, and this is what he captured. In another clip, the same figure appears again. This time it seems to be following him to the door as he leaves for work. The figure is wearing what looks like a white hoodie and sweatpants, but the people living in the house don't recognize it at all. If this were a family member or friend, they would have said so, but no one knows what or who this is. Could it be the spirit of someone who lived there before, or some kind of unknown entity attached to the home? Hard to say, but what do you think? Have you ever thrown sand into the air and watched it go? No? Well, then you missed out as a kid. If you have, did it ever become something like this? If it's not already clear, he threw sand up into the sky and it looks like it became some sort of whirlwind, or at least took the shape of one. Well, that's not normal, right? Many who saw this believed it was a glitch in the Matrix. Some also pointed out that it could be energy fields being way over my head. I saw Julius's opinion and learned a thing or two. According to him, this could be explained by natural air currents interacting with the sand. If there was already a small dust devil or an updraft present, throwing sand into the air would make the invisible airflow visible, given the appearance that the sand itself formed into a whirlwind. Dust devils are common in dry open areas with heated ground surfaces, and even a slight disturbance like tossing sand can make them even more noticeable. He also mentioned that if the person threw the sand into a sudden gust of wind, it could momentarily swirl into a vortex-like motion before dispersing. Less exciting, I know, but his explanations are always logical. Either way, what do you think is more likely, a glitch in the Matrix or what Julius said? Next, take a look at this massive tree. It looks like a giant toothbrush with green bristles, don't you think? Well, you can find this fascinating tree in the southernmost part of New Zealand on the South Island. In this part of the island, trees grow in such an unusual way. Their branches all lean to one side, and there's a reason for this peculiar shape. The constant, powerful air streams in this region exert pressure on the trees, forcing their branches to grow in one direction. That's why they look like this. It's quite funny looking, but also an amazing example of how nature adapts to its environment. I just realized I didn't mention the name and species of the tree. Think of this as your second assignment. The person who can get this right will receive a nice prize from me. Again, another woman recently shared some eerie footage captured by her doorbell camera, which she reviewed while she was at work. The notification alerted her to motion detection on her front porch, prompting her to check the video feed. What she discovered was truly unsettling. On a porch sat a flower pot, vibrant and normal in appearance, filled with fresh blooms. However, if you looked closely behind the flowers, partially obscured by the shadows, there was something deeply unsettling. A ghostly humanoid figure can be seen standing silently facing the house. Its presence was almost surreal, adding to the atmosphere of unease. This sighting is particularly striking because the woman has reported that her house is haunted. She has experienced numerous strange occurrences over the years. While she remains accustomed to these supernatural events, for others who witnessed the footage, this particular sighting is profoundly disturbing and unsettling. The figure's stillness and hidden nature only amplify the chilling effect of the experience. The most chilling images are always the ones where you take a picture and end up capturing something completely unexpected in the background. Just the thought of something unseen watching you without even knowing is deeply unsettling. That's exactly what happened to this dog owner. She lived alone with her 2 furry companions and had just returned from a late-night walk with them. After settling in, she decided to take a cute photo of one of her dogs who had climbed up onto a chair. At first, it seemed like nothing more than an innocent moment until she sent the picture to someone and they told her to take a second look. In the doorway, just behind the dog, was a dark humanoid figure lurking in the shadows. It was completely black, standing eerily still and appeared to be wearing a hood. The figure blended into the darkness, but its presence was unmistakable. It was watching her and her dog the entire time. Once she shared this image, there was one question that lingered in the minds of everyone who saw it. Was this an actual person or something paranormal? If it was an intruder, that alone is terrifying. Someone standing silently in the dark inside her home without her noticing, that's every homeowner's worst nightmare. But with intruders, at least there's a physical presence to confront. In this case, that doesn't seem to be what happened. Instead, whatever it was just stood there staring in her direction. Many have linked the eerie encounter to shadow people, which are mysterious figures that have long unsettled believers in the supernatural. If you're new to this, the paranormal community widely believes these shadowy entities could be spirits, manifestations of hauntings, or even interdimensional beings. Whether it was human or something else, one thing is certain. Something was there that night, watching. But what was it? I guess we will never know unless you guys have some insight into the whole thing we're not aware of. We have a chilling video that was shared by a group of urban explorers. They decided to visit an abandoned nursing home. As they walked through the eerie hallways filming, something unexpected happened. While pointing their camera up the staircase, they suddenly noticed movement. At first, it was just a shadow, something dark and human-shaped lingering at the top of the stairs. But as they focused their camera to get a better look, the shadow moved. It walked across the landing, disappearing behind the wall. What's terrifying is that the figures didn't seem solid. It wasn't just a person standing up there. It looked like a dark mass shifting and gliding rather than walking normally. The group panicked. They knew they were the only ones inside. No one else was supposed to be in the building. The people of old ways say pay attention to your kids, especially when they talk about imaginary friends, and this video might have just proved them right. In the video recorded by a security camera in a home, you can see a little girl standing at the doorway looking into the basement. It appears she wants to enter, but she hesitates. Upon closer inspection, a hand could be seen beckoning her to come inside, and the girl waves back. The family cat is also present, observing the hand, which looks very transparent. The girl's mother shared the footage, explaining that she set up the camera because her daughter had been spending so much time in the basement. When she asked her daughter about it, the little girl said it was her imaginary friend down there. Did the mother just capture this so-called imaginary friend, or is there an entity lurking with her daughter in the basement? We say that humans have souls, but have you ever wondered if animals do as well? A woman recently shared a heartbreaking story online. She suddenly lost her dog. It was such a shock because the dog was not sick or hurt, it just died unexpectedly. She was devastated and even believed that someone might have harmed her pet. Not long after the dog's death, she reviewed her home security camera footage. While watching it, she noticed something unusual. The footage showed her arriving home on her scooter one night, about to go inside the house. At that moment, she didn't see anything out of the ordinary. But as she rewatched the recording, she saw something else. On the ground around her was a ghostly figure that looked exactly like her late dog walking nearby. She could even see a glowing pair of eyes. The figure wandered around her much like dogs do when their owner returns home, and then, just like that, it faded away. The woman shared this footage online, crying as she explained that she believed it was her dog saying its final goodbye to her. What do you think? Someone noticed something moving up in the trees, so they looked up. According to the witness, they saw something perched on a high branch. Now, since it was dark, whatever this thing was must have been either black-furred or completely shadowed, because it's hard to make out any clear details in the footage, except for a very faint humanoid figure, and it appeared to be crouched on a branch completely still. Some say it's just an animal up there, but the paranormal community is positive that it could be a skinwalker. You've seen the clip too? What do you think it is? Have you heard about this? The EU has officially approved the use of mealworm larvae flour in food production. That's right. Insect-based flour is now set to be used in a wide range of food products like cheese bread, pasta, jams, you name it. They claim that the only condition for its use is that the mealworms must be treated under UV radiation before being processed in a flour. So, let's be real here. How much of this process will actually be regulated? Even with strict food safety laws, we constantly see reports of harmful chemicals slipping through the cracks, banned ingredients still making their way into food production, and companies cutting corners to maximize profit. If these issues exist with everyday food, how can we be sure every batch of insect flour will be properly treated and safe? And let's not forget, not everyone is on board with eating insects. While many cultures have traditionally consumed insects, for others, the idea of unknowingly eating mealworm-infused bread or pasta is downright unsettling. At this point, we might as well just go outside, dig up some worms from our backyard, and fry them up because, where is this line anymore? A group of Siksika tribesmen were riding across the tribal land of Alberta, Canada, when they stumbled upon an intriguing scene in the nearby woods. In the dense trees, they noticed three creatures partially concealed in the underbrush. One of the creatures appeared to be lying low to the ground, watching the men, but after a brief moment of observation, it settled back down again unfazed. The second creature lingered not far, and the third was standing upright nearby, allowing its form to blend seamlessly with the surrounding foliage. All three creatures were attentive, their outlines visible as they watched the tribesmen from among the branches. Locals say that the scent of the horses effectively masks human odor, allowing the riders to move through their territory without arousing suspicion. What are your thoughts on this footage? A woman was home alone with her son when she took this picture of him standing in the kitchen, his back turned to the living room. But when she zoomed in on the image, she noticed something unsettling. Take a look. There's a strange figure peeking out from behind the wall. At first glance, it almost looks like a silhouette, but the face is eerily distorted, making it hard to identify what it could be. Now, the question is, could this be pareidolia, or is it possible that this could be a child entity lingering in the shadows of her home? When I was younger, a superpower I always wanted was mind control, and don't ask me why. My brother, on the other hand, wanted telekinesis, which is the ability to move things with your mind. He always assumed that was the coolest superpower in the world. It turns out there might be people already having it. Take a good look at this clip. The man starts off with a piece of Dorito. He places it down and somehow manages to move it with his mind. That's not all, though. He soon brings out some coins and tries his awesome power on them, and yes, they do respond. Many in the paranormal community were wowed, while some were skeptical. They felt he'd achieved his feat using invisible wire, making the objects move when his hands move. After watching the clip a number of times, I must say I get where these guys are coming from. What do I know? I've only got untrained eyes. Do you guys believe this is authentic, or is this man just messing with us gullible folks? And by us, I mean me, since, well, I love things like this. While the ongoing fires might be breaking hearts and striking fear in the hearts of those who live by or have families who do, there are those coming across strange things they think may have led to the fire. Once again, our hearts go out to those affected by the fires. This was recorded by a man who was out at night trying to capture the apocalyptic view that Southern California is today. While recording the clip, he noticed something dark moving across the sky. It looked like those squid-like UFOs we featured in the past few months, only this time it looked more fluid and realistic. Naturally, this scared him, and he uploaded it online asking if anyone could help him understand what he was seeing. Some individuals in the community thought this was a genuine capture, whereas others thought it might be doctored. Those who thought it was genuine believed it was a UFO and suspected they may know something about the fires. While that debate was ongoing, someone shared this clip as well. It was allegedly recorded during a live news segment, and you see something dart across the sky, which again individuals in the community suspect is a UAP or UFO. It's a hard pill to swallow, but yeah, some think aliens, or at least the government, have something to do with these fires. This is a sensitive topic right now, so we move on to the next capture. He was enjoying what seemed like a peaceful night until something caught his eye. Hidden among the dense bushes was a figure that sent chills down his spine. It looked like a man, but something was off. The figure had a long gray beard and glowing eyes that pierced through the darkness. What made it even more unsettling was the man's attire, a long black robe that seemed out of place for someone lurking in the bushes at that time of night. As the man pointed his camera toward the figure, the strange individual suddenly stood up as if startled by being spotted. But instead of confronting the person filming, he crouched back down quickly, almost like he was trying to hide or avoid being caught on camera. There was a certain eerie silence surrounding the encounter, making it all the more disturbing. What was this figure doing out there in the middle of the night, hidden behind the bushes? The way he disappeared into the shadows leaves so many unanswered questions. Could this be a mysterious hermit, a lost soul, or perhaps something more supernatural? While technology keeps advancing, sometimes it takes away more than it gives. Let me tell you about something bizarre that actually happened back in 1988. Sony released around 700,000 camcorders with a feature called Night Shot. You could record in low light using infrared, but people discovered that under certain conditions, those cameras could actually see through clothing. Sunlight with the Night Shot setting made thin fabrics look almost transparent. Suddenly, Sony had intentionally sold hundreds of thousands of devices that could invade privacy in ways no one ever imagined. The company quickly pulled the feature, updated later models, but by then the damage was already done.
Ah, 1988. Every pervert's greatest summer. Anyway, with that, we end today's episode and thank you for staying with us.
Before you go with our clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't, well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have.
I've been Steve. This has been Classified Captures. Share this video with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.